Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mike, final half hour here on this Monday morning. We mentioned it off the top of the show. If you stayed up late Friday night into Saturday morning to see what ended up being a historic and record-setting game at the American Legion World Series involving Fargo Post 2, they came back basically 5 hours later and won their final game and then had to sit and wait to see if they would advance on in the Legion World Series. But their tiebreaker did not go their way, and unfortunately, their season comes to an end. Our pleasure to be rejoined by head coach Luke Rustad on not the best circumstances. I wanted to talk to him today, but I appreciate him coming on the show. Just give me your emotions here of the last 12 hours of what's went down.
Outside of the game, obviously not being able to continue, it's kind of weird. Your season ending, not on the field. And I just want people to know too, I'm not like, there's no animosity toward the Legion or anything like that. This is an unbelievable experience. We had everything in our control to do what we could to move on. And, it comes down to tiebreakers, and, they got to put things in play for that in case of those things happen. And the rules when you're going in. So there's no I heard some people talking about, this should be a double elim tournament. And I'm like, yeah, but there's more to, you get 3 games, even if you don't do well, it's an experience for the kids. They do a really great job down here. So there's no animosity from that aspect. On the other part of it, it was heavy hearts last night. We had a team meeting last night. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house, especially among our seniors. And you're saying goodbye to a lot of great kids that are going to go on, play baseball in college or not. And that was tough. We let them say what they wanted to say. We said some things to them, and we're really appreciative. So, just the emotions were just like bittersweet. I'm proud of the fact they came down here, competed, put ourselves in position to move on. We don't have any regrets in that respect. And then sad at the same time because they're moving on. And, like this morning already, Jackson Beiswinger had to go. So he's going to Bucknell to play. And he's got a brother that actually attends Duke. So they're going to stop and visit his brother. And then they're heading on to Pennsylvania where he's going to play baseball at Bucknell. So we're already one man down, and we gave him a big hug this morning, told him thank you. He was a great kid, great player for us. And then the rest of the guys here are hanging out right now. And, I think we're going to find some things to do today. They mentioned Top Golf. So we'll see what we get done throughout the day. But it was difficult last night.
Luke, there was a shot in the 7th inning last night on the broadcast, panning the crowd of your guys sitting there knowing what the outcome, that they were going to need something miraculous to happen. You could see it in their eyes. There's no rule book. There's nothing, guidebook to sign up for a coach. What did you even say last night? What could you say?
We didn't even talk after the game. So they put us in vans. Coaches drive them, split you up. That was the quietest van ride I've ever been on in my life. I didn't say anything. I just let them, be silent. And then we just talked probably about an hour after that when we got back to the hotel. I was just trying to gather my thoughts of what do you say. So there really wasn't a lot of talking about that at the game. I just know as soon as that final out was after the final out for Troy happened, because they batted in the bottom of the 6th, so they're not going to have to bat again.
Yep.
And that was our shot. And I just know a couple of them turn around and go, "Can we just go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's get out of here. We're fine." But there really wasn't a lot being said as soon as that was over. It's just kind of one of those things. You're just kind of searching. I've never been in that position to have to say it under those circumstances.
I do want to go back, though, to how the weekend started. The game Friday, you had, I think, more people maybe never seen your team play that were interested Friday night simply because the game was going at 10 o'clock, at 10:30, at 11 o'clock. You had a front row seat. Give me your impressions of how that game played out Friday night.
Yeah, I wish we could. If we get it done in regulation, we're moving on. And you think about those things.
Yeah.
And it's a game of inches and stuff. We thought we had that kid out that ultimately walked and came around to score the time run. Umpire didn't think so. That's okay. That's why I love this game too. There's those things that are about that. Yeah, he's doing his job, and obviously we're gonna think we're getting it better. I mean, it's funny too because they think, oh, you're asking about a strike, and I'm like, well, I'm not. He goes, you can't see anything from third, and I'm like, I'm not asking from third. I talk to my catcher between. I don't sit there and guess. I talk to the man who's back there with you. But yeah, it was unbelievable though. I mean, here we're playing in this game. It's going extras. It's going forever. And then somebody like, all right, here, do we want to save Wyatt? I said, dude, we got to win this game. We're not saving Wyatt. I mean, this is our season here. Ultimately, if we don't win this one, there is no hope.
Yep.
So Wyatt was pitching unbelievable in relief. I mean, he had 11 strikeouts in relief.
Yes.
I mean, he was unbelievable. He gave us a chance, and then twice we get down, and then the Byswingers double into the gap and scored Jordan from first. And the field was so slippery. Jordan just said he just kept worrying, don't slip, don't slip, don't slip as he's coming around his base. I'm like, we got to go. We got to go. This is our chance. And just to fight back twice from being down and then find a way to win. And then obviously, historically, there's a lot of records. One of them was the most combined strikeouts by teams. I mean, you're playing 14 innings of baseball. It was unbelievable. And I was laughing on the broadcast because I went and rewatched kind of the end of it, and they were mentioning, oh, man, look at how excited these kids are. You think they'd won the championship?
Yep.
Well, I'm like, we just saved our season. And that's the kind of team we have. They went out to celebrate that. And the play that ended the game was so weird, too, because I'm at third base, and that grounder comes, and I hear their pitcher say, touch the base. And then he yells, take him. And then Jackson slows up, and then the kid is in no man's land, and then he throws it away. I'm like, oh, my God, that just happened. This is over. All right. I couldn't believe it. It was such a weird play, but you're just listening to all the thing, and I'm like, oh, good. They had a frozen where you get frozen moment, brain lock had happened, and so that kind of got us a run. But the guys were great. We had pinch hitters come in that, did their job. I mean, Brady Manley hadn't played all game, and I don't even remember what inning I subbed him in, and then he has a single to extend that inning that got us on, and that's just the kind of team we had. Kids were ready to play when their number was called, and I mean that thing was a marathon. It's kind of funny too. During the rain delay, they came and asked me, hey, if we can't start this by 11, it's probably going to go into the start tomorrow morning. And I'm like, I don't want to start tomorrow morning. Well, you're willing to go tonight? Yeah, we're going tonight. I want to go tonight. I said, I've been through this song.
I know.
Last time I was here.
Yes.
Because then those pitchers that are in the game can't pitch the next day because of the pitch counts.
Correct.
So I'm just like, we got to roll this. We got to go with where we're at right now. And thank God we did, because then the next morning, we get in our game, obviously, and finish that. But later on in the day, they had rainouts for Montana, and then they got forced into the next day. So who knows how long this tournament or what it would have done to the tournament. But I thought it put us in a better position going into the next day, just being done and having that off our mind no matter how late it got over.
Luke, how impressive was it for the team to come back the way they played Saturday morning? I thought that may have been more impressive than how you won the game Friday night.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you're kind of wondering how we're going to be in the morning. And, myself, I was tired. I'm not going to lie. And that adrenaline wore off. I didn't sleep well, so I was kind of wondering how the guys slept.
Yeah.
I know when we got back to the hotel, some parents had some Jack in the Box burgers waiting for us. I think that's all, what they could find so that we could get something in our bellies and then get to bed as quick as possible. Because I mentioned that. I said, hey, we can't linger here and worry about how much food we're going to eat, whatever. We got to get to bed.
Yep.
We got to get up, and we're the first game the next day. And then just going through that, the next morning, right before they went out for IO, I came up to him and I said, I'm going to tell you what, guys, this is what's going to happen if you lose this game. Everyone's going to tell you it's okay because you were tired. You can't. That's not a good excuse. Yeah. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, we got to go out here and play, and you don't want to look back and say, well, we were tired. That's a weak excuse for not performing. So I said, I don't know what you got to do, but reset yourselves, find the energy that you need to do to compete. Let's go out here and let's win this baseball game. And I couldn't be more proud of how they came out. I mean, we came out, we put a 4 spot up right away. We got going with the bats right away, took advantage of, an error and then extended innings. And guys came up with hits with runners in scoring position, and we kept putting it on them. And too bad we allowed that 1 3-run inning. That
Yeah.
happens because that ends up being the difference in why we're not moving on. But it is what it is.
Are you
I mean,
looking
you
at
can
that?
go to any game, and I'm not even putting it on that game. So I don't want anyone to
Yeah.
think, oh, it's just that game. No, there were runs we gave up in every game, and all those runs matter.
Were you starting to count runs though at that point? Like, when in your mind you're like, okay, well, this is going to be a factor. Were you worried about it during the game, or not at all? You're just worried about winning the baseball game.
I'm just worried about winning the game.
Yeah.
I feel like when you start getting to that, you start managing a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, you might think that you're doing the right thing and it can work, but sometimes that can get away from you as well because the focus ultimately becomes on runs and things like that. And it's tough. You still got to throw strikes and field the baseball and do those things to keep runs off the board in the first place. So I mean, basically, when we were up 8-0 or 9-0, we're in a good spot. But I mean, obviously, that team hadn't won a game at the World Series. They're going to come out and compete, and they want to put forth their championship level team. So it is what it is. It was tough to think about the runs, but it's tough to prevent when people are hitting the ball. So
before I let you go, and I really appreciate you doing this morning, what's going to be your memories of this team when you look back on it 5 years from now?
I would say resilience because as much as we are talented, there was a month of July where we were not hitting the baseball very well at all. And I mean, we still won games, but I'd walk out of there being like, wow, how did we win that game? We had no business winning that game. We left so many runners on base, and we had guys that were kind of going through it in the slump. And then obviously at the state tournament, we found a way to get to the regional, and I still didn't think we were hitting the ball well. The only upside of that is I thought our competitiveness was really good. So we were grinding out games and finding ways to get in. And then at the regional after that first loss, obviously it's 2-1. We didn't come up big again. I thought our hitting was a little bit better, but then after we got that Renner win, and then after that, and our bats kind of took off and came back, I felt really good. But I mean, think about kids going through slumps. You got to be resilient. If you're going to go through that, you could easily just get so mentally, wiped that you don't bounce out of it because it just becomes something like just hanging on you. And I'm really proud of the kids for sticking with it. Also, finding a way to just not let that define them, and then obviously we were able to get to a World Series. And then in the other flip side, what nobody knows too is how close this team is. So I mean, we got kids, some that don't ever get in the games. And then the one thing is in the regional, I didn't even think about this till after I looked down. I got everybody into the regional.
Wow.
Everybody played in a regional game, and it was unbelievable. And then here at the World Series, even when they weren't playing, they were ready to play when they needed to. And if they weren't, they were great teammates, and they really support each other. And this group always breaks the field with the word family. And I truly believe that with this group. They really do care about each other, and it's a fun group to be around.
It's great to see you. I hate to tell you this, but your other job's waiting for you because you got a football game coming up in a couple days.
Yeah, football game. And also today's the first day of school, or tomorrow, first day of school. I had to text my principal last night when they gave me my flight. I'm like, I'm going to need a sub. I'm trying to think about, like, do I need a lesson plan right away? I'm sure there'll be something. I'm like, I say kickball for Triad. Call back if you don't have anything that you got to quick throw together. I don't even know most of the kids quite yet.
Oh man!
And then obviously I teach in the classroom as well, a health class, and it's day one. And I'm like, I got to be there day one to implement that. I can't just put that on a sub. They won't even know what it is going on. So there's a lot of different things that were going through my mind. And then I looked at the football schedule today. I'm like, Friday night, great. Wonder what I'm gonna have to reevaluate my role here. And like, I'm usually in the booth, and I'm like, maybe I'll be in the booth with someone else, and I'll just kind of be more of an analyst or somebody like that that's helping out this week and before I hit the ground running.
It's great to see it. Safe travels back home, man. Thanks for the time as always. Okay, great job this year.
Thanks, Dom. I appreciate it.
Luke Rustad joining us, Fargo Post 2 head coach. Disappointing end for them as they were eliminated on the tiebreaker rules at the Legion World Series, but I think they made plenty of memories what they did over the last 2.5 weeks. Amazing. We're overdue for our final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up, get you ready for a busy Sports Monday. Hot Mike wraps right after this.